So, as promised, this is Disha Rosetta, and I am doing a video on imposter syndrome, especially as it affects Black women in the United States. I've got my laptop here, and I'm going to read the definition as it's listed here in the Oxford Dictionary for imposter syndrome. And it says the persistent inability to believe that one's successes uh, is deserved or has been legitimately achieved as a result of one's own efforts or skills. So when I read that, I was like, oh, that's a whole lot of words. What does that mean? Like, how do I break that down? So it basically means that when you achieve something, you don't really give yourself credit, or you don't really feel into that achievement, or you don't really believe that achievement because you don't feel that it is deserved because of the things that you've been told about yourself, and not necessarily about fill in the blank as your name, but as you as a Black woman, as you as a Black man, as you as a person of color in the United States specifically, because I am a Black woman from South Carolina, currently traveling throughout Asia and Africa, but based in California. And I understand imposter syndrome to the 10th degree. I have people that reach out to me that are excited about my journey, excited about me doing something different, and there is definitely a part of me that has had problems owning it. Part of it is because I feel like if I own it too much, I may become a little overwhelmed with what I'm doing. But another part of it is also because I recognize that I wasn't really giving validity and credence to what it is that I'm doing, and the fact that it is something that is really different from what other people do with their lives. So what I'm talking about, what I'm doing, if you haven't been following me on my journey, is the fact that I left the States in September of 2019. I plan to be gone until January 2020 on a radical self-care journey, and a journey of really embodying my coaching in a way that I can be the example, a true example for my current and future clients. So I am actually going to be gone for 1 month for each year that I have lived in the Bay Area, as a way to reset and refocus and have a new perspective on what it is that I'm here to do on earth. I've had some good things happen in the Bay Area, had some kind of traumatic things happen in the Bay Area, just some life shifting things that I recognized that I needed to have a hard reset. And for me to have that hard reset, I needed to leave the country. That's what I felt. Now, in doing so, didn't have a real plan, and other than going a couple places and being led, intuitively as to where to go next. But in doing so, I have recognized that I have become an example for what can be done as a Black person, as a Black woman. An example for friends, family, colleagues, strangers, as to what is possible and what can be achieved outside of the realm of what we are told is available to us. So I would have never thought, growing up in Charleston, South Carolina, that in this moment, on October 31st, 2019, I would be in Da Nang, Vietnam. Would have never imagined that, right? Would have never thought that last year, even last month, honestly, because I did not necessarily plan to be here in this time, in this space like this. But I recognized that the imposter syndrome was showing up in my life, and it was impeding me from progressing in a way that I felt deep within me was possible. The imposter syndrome, or the imposter idea that I am not worthy, that I can't really do this because people that look like me don't really do this. So reading again the definition, the persistent inability to believe that one's success is deserved or has been legitimately achieved as a result of one's own efforts and skills. I didn't get here by anything other than my own effort and skill, you haven't gotten to where you are by anything other than your own effort and skill, and not acknowledging that and not allowing yourself to celebrate that is doing yourself a disservice and doing the people around you a disservice as well. Because in you recognizing that, in you celebrating that, you allow other people to recognize you, celebrate you, and to recognize that part of themselves in themselves, and to celebrate that part of themselves in themselves as well. So looking again at another part of that, to believe that one's success is deserved or legitimately achieved. We have been told that we don't deserve things if they are positive, that especially if you are brought up in the South as a Black person in traditional churches. And I am not against the church, I am not against religion, but there is a part of holding backness, as I will call it, that keeps you small, because you are told that you don't deserve certain things unless you sacrifice, or unless you are in some way a martyr for the things that you're doing. And I'm not talking about dying on the cross. I'm talking about if you don't suffer in some part of the process, then what you have achieved isn't deserved, right? That's something that is ingrained, or at least ingrained in me in a way that I didn't recognize until I separated myself from that space, until I allowed myself to think and feel and research and understand what it was that I was actually being taught, what it was that I actually experienced and felt that was different, and how those things intertwined into the person that I am now. So believing that you deserve what you have achieved has a major impact on you recognizing that achievement. If you don't think you deserved it, you're going to downplay it. And in you downplaying it, you continue to make yourself small and not allow yourself to be the fullness of who you are meant to be, and you don't allow yourself to get to the next level because you keep downplaying the level that you're at. So that other part, legitimately achieved. So when I read that, when I think about that, I think about affirmative action. I think about the fact that we are told that, or we think, or in some cases that we've gotten to the point or the place where we are because of affirmative action, or because of things like affirmative action, because of a quota system. So even that diminishes the achievement that you have received, or the achievement that you have achieved. Even if you were a product of affirmative action. The affirmative action allows you to get in that space on level playing field, but that does not have anything to do with the work that you actually put in to get to where you are. So that's another thing that's like almost what I call like these mind fucks. That's like, you've got to unwind and untwine that and recognize that even if A is there, that doesn't negate B. So even if affirmative action was there, that doesn't negate the fact that you worked hard and you've achieved things that other people haven't achieved. I remember in high school writing a paper for my government class that was against affirmative action. And we could have either written a paper that was for or against it. And I wrote one that was against it. I didn't necessarily believe the things that I wrote, but I just wrote it because I like kind of playing that devil's advocate, seeing a different perspective. I actually turned that paper in to the Kiwanis Club, or some kind of organization that was predominantly white, for a scholarship, and I won. And you know what was funny? When they saw me show up at the scholarship dinner, they were not expecting a little black girl to be the one that wrote a paper against affirmative action. They were in awe. I didn't say then that I didn't necessarily believe the things that I wrote. I didn't say then that this paper was, written in my class because of an assignment. I just took the money that they gave me for the scholarship and went about my merry way. Now, if I had gotten stuck in the thought of, oh, what are these people thinking of me? Oh, I wonder if they know that I don't really believe this. If I got stuck in the A, I wouldn't have been able to achieve the B. And the B was getting the scholarship, using the scholarship for University of South Carolina, graduating college in 3 years because people said that it was gonna take 4, and I'm like, fuck that, I'm gonna do it in 3. All of these other things that I was able to achieve because I didn't get stuck in that idea that I didn't deserve it or that it wasn't legitimately achieved. I legitimately wrote that paper. I legitimately won that scholarship, and I legitimately went to college with that money. I mean, I used it for books or something like that, but the point is that the legitimacy was there, even though it was something that I didn't necessarily agree with. So again, imposter syndrome, the persistent inability to believe that one's success is deserved or has been legitimately achieved as a result of one's own efforts or skills. Think about that, Black woman. Think about that, Black man. Think about that, Latina woman, Latino, man. When you are achieving something and you find that little voice in the back of your head, I call it the little fucker, that is like, well, but, that's that imposter syndrome that has been fed to you by the media, by well-meaning teachers, bosses, maybe not even well-meaning, but the point is that is an incorrect way of thinking, which leads to a smallness and incorrect way of being for the greatness that you have to give to the world. So I continue to shut down that voice that keeps me small or tries to keep me small. I continue to encourage my coaching clients to shut down that voice, to not allow that voice to be the bigger voice in their head or in their psyche or whatever you want to call it. So if this resonates with you, please share it with somebody. If you are looking for help, for coaching, for guidance in your life, whether it be in your business, whether it be starting a business, whether it be with relationships, let me know, because I have had a lot of varied experiences. I have worked myself, and I have worked with a lot of people that have had varied experiences and come from different spaces and places, and I would love to support you on your journey to getting rid of and silencing imposter syndrome in your life. DM me, yes me down below. We'll schedule something, we'll see if it's a fit, and we'll go from there. Toodles.